This has been a difficult project. I brought this on myself. I'll give you the whole lowdown. Let me shed some light on this. Thank you. Good night. Okay. Here's what we got. I want this futon to do certain things, and I want it to be done easily. It's human-powered, people-powered. I don't want any motors. I don't want any actuators, nothing. What I'm trying to do is get this baby in balance wherever it may sit, kind of like a gimbal for your camera. When you balanced it properly, you could turn the camera in any position and it will stay there because it's in balance. We got forces coming out this way. We got forces going that way. Once they're in balance, then any little bit of human intervention is going to set it in motion. That's what I want.
I knew what I wanted this thing to do, but I didn't know how to refine it. And my thinking includes highly detailed images in my head. So the first step, obviously, was to eat a bunch of popsicles. Then I sat down to introduce myself to the basics. I started with a small scaled model on my desktop. Then I built a full-size model. None of these models worked. They were all wrong, but that's how I learned. And then it finally hit me, and I was off to the races. I would use springs and pulleys. Lots of springs. My early attempts were a bit too ambitious. The 80/20 catalog offers a gazillion choices. You just need to know what purpose they can serve in your project. Unibearings, linear bearings, structural pivots.
I just want to give you a brief overview of some of this 80/20 stuff. It's so cool. This is like the erector set I had when I was a kid. You know about the 80/20 profiles. They come in many, many different configurations. See this one? This has a smooth surface. So this you would use as a finished edge that was going to be exposed. You could also expose these. I have some plans about what I'm going to do with the exposed channels in these. But adding motion. This is called a linear bearing with a single flange. I'm big on flanges. You got to have flanges. What this does, you see how this fits? This is going to go right in here. Look at that. Now it runs along the rail. What would you use this for? I don't know. Maybe a pulley to help you with a futon frame. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Here's some more motion. Look at this. Not emotion, motion. This is called a structural pivot. That's what they call this. See this thing? These babies slide into the channels, and then you lock them down. And these things, they bear down tight. It's really amazing, right? Structural pivot. Now that's locked in, right? Then you take another profile. Here comes the sirens. It wouldn't be a video without a siren. Ooh. See that? That slides in there. Then you lock that down. What you're left with now is a structural pivot. When this all ties down tight, it's amazing. This is amazing. It's a big erector set for adults. I love this. Now, what would you do with this? I don't know. Futon frame, maybe. I'm just spitballing. What else do we have? Some of the fasteners. You know that I've been making my own plates and elbows for connections. Now, I have made hundreds of these things. Hundreds. You gotta remember, 80/20 wants $3 a piece for this, $3 a piece for this. I've gone through hundreds and hundreds. Same thing with their fasteners. See this little, I call this the submersible. These things are great from 80/20, but they're costly compared to these. And again, hundreds of these I'm going through. You already know about the L brackets that I've been making myself. I can use these with carriage bolts. The carriage bolts slide right into the channel, a 5/16 carriage. Perfect, right? You can make L brackets this way, right? Tighten them down. But you have an issue there with your screws, your nuts showing. 80/20 has their own version of a submersible nut that you can use, and I have been using them extensively. They slide right into the channel. See how that goes? They slide right in, and then you tighten them down. This is one of my homemade flat plate brackets that I can use to tee off for support. You lock this stuff down, it's unbelievable. It's just so tight. But you can see the difference between using the carriage bolts, where you've got your nut and screw protruding out the top, and if you use theirs, you're heading down in with your hex bolt, so the profile up on top isn't as bad. There's certain cases where you have to use this. There's other cases where this is fine. Here's another thing. You could use that and one of these. I've done this frequently inside the build. And I could put another plate on this side, and I could put another elbow over here. If you've got a lot of weight coming across these members, I've got 4 sides to connect to, and I did. These are corner braces. Now, again, if you want to get involved, this one's easier to put in for sure than my carriage bolts. If you need to get involved in something like a truss system, and believe it or not, there's no truss system in the Futon frame, but I do have a truss system in place for my batteries. So, this would be another way to create that truss system. You know how strong a structure this is? You put a plate like this on both sides. You got this corner brace. You can get longer ones. This is a 6-inch, I can get a 9-inch, I can get a 12-inch. Put another one of these underneath. One of the problems with 80/20 is you need to know what the hell you're doing before you do it, because see what I just did? If I got this thing, now I want to put this in place, I gotta take everything apart. So you need to anticipate what you're doing and how you're gonna do it. If you get this baby, come on now, you lock this all down, the common man is building like a skyscraper with this stuff. That's the beauty of it. I like this better than wood. All right, I said it. I like it better than wood. Rock solid. All right, that's enough. Back to our regularly scheduled program. I got a little lock down here to hold it in place for travel. So, you're sitting on here, and I'm going to have a hassock out here that fits underneath. So you're going to be chilling out, you're relaxing. You want to recline a little bit. There you go. You reclined. A little more? Go ahead. Watch your movie. It's nice. That's my point. That's what I'm after. I just want this to be easy. I'm there. I'm 90% there. I got this thing doing what I want to do. Oh, did you notice this isn't that big Mameluke futon? I put the kibosh on the big Mameluke futon. It was too big. It was out of scale. It looked ridiculous. Too heavy. You're sitting up too high. It was too thick. The double size is fine. 75, 54, 56, whatever it is. Over 9 inches thick. Too much. Too much. So this is just a stand-in. This is just a foam topper, a memory foam topper with an old comforter that I put on. Of course, I can't use any of the good comforters for my filming. I got to get something from the attic.
The freshwater tank lives under one side of the couch, deliberately positioned closer to the rear axle. And because the couch was going to be so much deeper, the floor space in front of the tank could house your shoes, or maybe a storage ottoman. The other side would be a massive dedicated bedding drawer, 3 feet deep. The bedding drawer is a must-have.
Here's one of the things I got as a detail. Unlock it, bring it forward, and I got a bookcase. Now here's one of my problems. In order to get this thing to be fully deployed for a bed, you gotta lay on it. I don't like that. When you pull it out over here, I want it to drop. And then when you're getting out of bed in the morning, you stand up, and I want it to be as simple as that, except my DVDs are in the way because it's a fake shelf. So, but you see, it's that easy. All right, now I'm going to leave that in. It serves me right for not testing it before I did the... But in order for me to show you how this motion works, I can't have these DVDs in the way and these fancy books. Release, pull it out. I'll have a handle. Okay, it's not so hard to pull it out. I'm just not crazy about getting it down flat. But once you're down flat, it's all good, right? Then you get out of bed. All you gotta do, I mean, this is one way to do it. Just work it back. Simple. There's a number of ways I can handle this. Okay? So, one of the issues that came up when I got this futon in place was this pass-through space right here. Because of my mechanism, this futon is sitting out a little further than I would like it to. It's sitting out further than it did with the original cheap futon frames I was testing with. So consequently, we've got a problem here in this passageway, okay? Now, as I said, I was 90% of the way here with this futon. There's a few tweaks I'm gonna make. One of those tweaks is I may shorten this, raise that a little bit. Just an inch here, a tuck there, and that's how we get balance. It's tuning. That's all we're doing is tuning this. But I'm gonna beat this horse one more time. If this was box framing, and we built this early on out of typical plywood box framing, and we come to this situation, what are we gonna do now? We're gonna rip out this whole galley because of this? Are we gonna tear it? No. All I have to do is pick it up and move it down to where I want it. I can go even further because I left myself room back there. Now, had I not left myself the room for this type of a move, I could just come in, unbolt these two pieces, cut these, and shorten it. And we'd have a little shorter drawer. But this is my point. This is why this whole van is being built the way it's being built. It's frustrating that no one project is complete except for the installation behind the headliner. You happy, Mark? Everything's in a state of temporary completion, but that's because this is the first van. I want everything to be done right. I don't want to make concessions. I don't want to have to work after the fact because of something we didn't foresee early on. That's why this whole thing is still, it's fluid. That's a common term today, very popular. You get the point.